all, before we proceed, I want to clarify that there is a huge difference between meeting somebody, be it online or in person, and you guys fall in love and then decide to get married, and that person gives you a spousal visa through marriage. That is something totally different to what I want to discuss today. There are a lot of immigrants who come to the UK or to Ireland with perhaps a student visa or a work visa. As time goes by, maybe their employer decides not to extend their contract, or if they were on a student visa, they cannot have that visa renewed. And they're in this situation, this limbo, where they are now very desperate to get a visa, and they're basically on the clock, and the clock is ticking for them to get a visa, or they will have to go back to their country, and they're basically really desperate. There are so many people in this situation that I cannot fathom what they go through every single day. Today, I want to talk about people in particular who target these people in this situation. A lot of times, if you are in this situation, you will talk to other immigrants that, look guys, I'm in this situation, I don't know what to do. And you will find that there is other immigrants who came here many years back and they already have citizenship, for that country that you're in. And they will ask you out once they find out that you're in this situation, because they know that you're desperate. They'll ask you out, they woo you, you fall in love, and then you guys date, and then you guys get married. But because you're on the clock, you guys will get married, really quickly, because, they want you to stay in the country and you want to stay with them. Why not? You think you've met the love of your life. And, the first year or two is usually fine. And then if, let's say, you guys have to be married for 5 years before you get permanent residence, around year 2, they start to show their narcissistic behavior. And there are situations, many situations, where someone is forced to hand over the paycheck to their husband or their wife because this person wants your paycheck. Otherwise, they threaten you. I'm going to go to Home Affairs and tell them we're getting a divorce. I'm going to go to Home Affairs and tell them things are not working out, we're getting a divorce. And once that happens, you're given a very small amount of time for you to pack your things and leave. So these people will try and wave it out and try and ride that wave until 5 years when they can actually get their citizenship. But if those people are beyond cruel, around year 4 or maybe 1 month before you can apply for citizenship, they turn around and they say, I want a divorce, and there's nothing you can do to convince me otherwise, because they do not care about your well-being. When they came into this situation, you thought you were in love, but for them, you were just somebody to toy with. You were just somebody that they could play with. You were somebody that they could project their narcissistic behavior to. And they will divorce you, and basically those 4 years are for nothing, and then you have to go back home. If I tell you that the amount of people in this situation, it is high. It is high. They've also been situations, especially in the United States, where they've been fatalities because somebody brought you from Africa, certain parts of Africa, they bring you to the USA, they demand your paycheck, you retaliate, and there's actually been fatalities. Between 2007 and 2016, there've actually been fatalities of 50 women who found themselves in this situation. You're probably thinking that this applies to only women who are already overseas. Now, these predators don't just target women who are already here. A lot of them target women who are back at home. These are usually very older men. They're probably in their 50s. They've spent the last 20 years just working, saving money, sending it home to build a mansion that they will never live in the country that they're coming from. And around 50 years or maybe 45, they realize that, okay, I'm 45 now, I need to start a family. but they've been dating women who are already here or women who were born in the UK or in Ireland, and they realize that these women, because they are narcissists themselves, we're specifically talking about the narcissists here, and they will then decide that I'm going to go back to the village. For example, if they're going to from Zimbabwe, they'll go back to a village in Zimbabwe, or if they're from Nigeria, they'll do the same. But what they'll do is they'll go to these really remote villages or even their own villages, and they will find these women, this innocent, just finished high school, just finished secondary school kind of women who usually have no other prospects, and they will woo them with like a couple of $100. I'm not talking like a couple of thousands. Just throw a couple of $100 their way, buy them a cheap outfit, cheap pair of shoes, send them some credit on the phone, and this woman will think, oh my God, I've met somebody lovely. And the process will usually go really quick. They will propose really quickly, before you know it, the lobola has been paid, everything progresses really quickly. And then they will apply for a spousal visa, and the wife will relocate to live with her husband overseas. And you think, oh my God, this is beautiful and everything, despite the age gap difference, who doesn't love a little bit of age gap love? They will relocate over here. But when they relocate, that's when they realize that they married a monster. A lot of these times, these men will not allow them to go to school, even if it's to better their English or to go to learn how to drive, because once they learn how to drive, they'll be able to leave the house without them, and they don't want that. So these women are stuck in this situation, and once they get here, that's when these men will show them their true colors. They will even mistreat them or ill-treat them when they're here, and these women are threatened, they're brainwashed into thinking that, if you go to the police, they will get you deported because we'll have to get a divorce and you're on a spousal visa, and these women will be stuck in this situation for years on end. If they're lucky, they have kids, the kids go to school, and if they're lucky, they meet other moms who open their eyes, let them know of the options they have, and they can come out of that situation. They're stuck in these horrible marriages forever, and a lot of the time, even if they're working, they have a paycheck, they give the husband the entire paycheck, they don't even have money to buy themselves decent looking clothing, they don't even have money to do their hair, to do their nails, because these men want you in a box, and as smaller the box, the better. Now, there is no harm, there is nothing wrong with dating somebody who doesn't live in the same country as you. There's no harm in dating somebody who's living overseas already, whether you've met them online or in person. But it is important to recognize the signs that this person might not have the best intentions. If the relationship is going by very quickly, they propose within a couple of months, they want to get married as quickly as possible because they don't want you to be able to see their true colors before you get married to them. You need to make sure that you identify these red flags. Wanting to get married really quickly within a couple of months of meeting, that's a red sign. That's a red flag right over there. That's a flashing red flag. Men love to spoil their wives, and that's okay. But if your relationship is based on money and they throw like a couple of, I'm not even gonna say hundreds, like a couple of tens of euros a month your way, that is a red flag as well. Somebody doesn't just wake up, meet you today and send you money. They have to get to know you better, and you start to date. They have to know that you're not scamming them. Then they will send you money, maybe on Valentine's or anything like that. There is no harm there. But if the relationship just promises you money, that's a red flag. If he is promising you from day one that, look, we're going to date and then you can relocate and come and live with me overseas, that's a red flag, because they're dangling that carrot. They're dangling that carrot that you'll be able to come and live overseas. I'll get a spousal visa for you. I'll pay everything for you. That's a red flag that you need to be aware of. The last thing that I want to say, if you do find yourself in that situation where you misjudge somebody and it has come to a point where you realize that they're not treating you right, there are options in place. You can approach your local police station. If that person is not treating you well, you can approach them, you can report that. That is actually a good thing, having evidence of that, as that will support your case. If you decide to leave that person and you want to support and you want to have that evidence in place that this person has been mistreating me, this person has ill-treated me, they've now reported you to Home Office that they want a divorce, you can present that to Home Office, and that can be the grounds to give you an opportunity to stay in the country, to give you some sort of leave to remain, to stay in the country. You are not forced to be in this situation, and there are options in place so you don't stay in that situation. See you in the next video. Bye bye.